Hello everyone, welcome to the second upload in this fifth series of custom figure reviews. This time we're going to look at two more customs that have been in the collection for a while, but again haven't been featured in any videos. These two Daleks are custom NSDs inspired by colour schemes seen in the second Doctor Who and the Daleks movie, Dalek Invasion of Earth. Now, these were inspired by my original red and silver saucer pilot, which you may remember I covered a few years ago in these reviews, and that was painted back in 2011. These ones, unlike that one, were spray painted using techniques that I used to use back when I was more active at creating Dalek customs a couple of years ago. The first one is a silver 60s drone. This one was inspired by the Dalek Invasion of Earth movie, but also the Power of the Daleks fan film that came out a few years ago. And in that fan film, several Daleks were used that were all NSDs, that were all spray painted fully silver with black details and blue hemispheres. I think a Dalek has appeared since in the walkthrough experience that was in London a couple of years ago in this colour scheme that was inspired by Time Lord Victorious's blue and silver Daleks, but this one obviously doesn't have those features. It is just an NSD Dalek with silver and blue paint. I'm really happy with how this looks. I think silver and blue works well on any Dalek type, and especially the NSDs really benefit from being in these colours. One thing I didn't do with this Dalek was colour the midsection in the sort of matte grey tone used. I didn't have the right paint for this at the time and decided that if I was to do it, I'd probably spray paint it. But as it stands at the moment, it resembles quite nicely the ones from the Power of the Daleks fan film. I did consider muddying it up a little bit to give it the sort of mucky wash that a lot of new series Daleks have these days, but I didn't want to do that because it wouldn't match the other ones in the collection. Speaking of the other ones, this is the golden Dalek from the second Dalek movie. Again, this time I spray painted it rather than hand painted it. However, the slats and the neck section on this figure were hand painted after the base layer of black and gold was applied to the rest of the figure. As with the other customs I've made, I took it apart and spray painted the head separately, using watercolour paints on the lights to tint them yellow, and the eye stalk was painted in colours that matched the original prop as well. Another Dalek in this series also uses a gold and black colour scheme, and I'll go more into the history of that colour scheme as part of that video. I'm really fond of the hierarchy in the second film, and the fourth Dalek that's missing from my collection is the black and gold one, which was basically a revision of the black and gold Dalek seen in the first film. While I love this Dalek, I don't have any spare NSDs, and at the time I acquired these quite cheaply, but any collector will know that finding NSDs of any description now on eBay is not a cheap thing to do. So I don't have any intention of buying a fourth one to paint up like the black and gold. Maybe someday I'll do that, but it's not a priority for the moment, as I'm focused on getting my currently announced animation projects wrapped up. The finishes on these two figures aren't quite as tidy as I would have liked. It's likely that if I'd used these for animations, I would have tidied them up a bit more before using them for filming. But on my shelf from afar, I'm happy with how they look. They go quite nicely with the red and silver saucer Commander Dalek. Also, with it being gold, it's not too far from an original NSD colour scheme, but I wanted to use something that was a specific shade of bright gold, almost yellow, to capture the feeling of the original gold one in the movie. Although the props didn't look as good as they did in the first film, I still like the hierarchy as shown in this film. And when I was a kid, I actually thought that the gold Dalek was subservient to the black one, which was the main leader, as it was in the first film, but obviously that's not the case. The gold one is the top dog. Thanks for watching this video, guys. There's two more videos to come in this series, and the next one is a non-canon Dalek design, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, which is coming out next week.